This is our video for Wednesday, April 15th, and this is our science video. We're going to be starting a new chapter. It is lesson 12, so you want to open up your journal. If you're in junior, it's page 180 to the chapter lesson 12, Cnidarians. Okay, so go ahead and open up there and we will get started. If you are in your book, we are on page 185. Okay, so you can follow along and look at those pictures and take the notes that I write up on the board. I'll expect to see those when I check your journals this Friday. Okay, while walking through a field, have you ever brushed against a plant that had sticky spines on it? I know that if we go down to our creek, the weeds are about this big and it has all of these plants, and when I walk by they stick and they poke and sometimes they hurt. Okay, the spines lodge in your skin. They burn and they itch for hours. One such type plant is called the nettle. It's a terrible plant to encounter. Though it just sits there appearing to be nothing harmful, when you rub against it, you know something quite harmful. You guys probably don't know this plant because it doesn't grow in Montana. But there's a plant in Texas when I grew up as a kid, and it was actually called a bull nettle. And it's a beautiful plant. It's green and it's got these really big leaves, and it's got white dots all over it. And it kind of looks fuzzy. But if you were to touch that, it causes excruciating pain to your skin, even if you just touch it a little bit. So get your parents' help and look up a bull nettle and a bull nettle sting. One time I was a kid and somehow, I'm not sure how, because you think you would avoid it because it's very distinct looking, but I got my leg wrapped and the vine part got wrapped around my leg and I couldn't get out. I had shorts on and it was just burning so crazy, and I had to reach down with my hand and pull it off. So I had bull nettle stings all down my arm and all down my leg. Very, very painful. So that type of plant is called a nettle, and you can look those up. And I'm going to say ouch because I know what it's like to be stung by a nettle. Okay, well, like some plants, there are also some nettle-like animals that are best to avoid. Though they either drift or sit in place seeming like nothing harmful, they possess a powerful sting that can cause people pain and can kill the creatures that the animals want to consume. These animals that have nettles or stingers are called cnidarians. Cnidarians. Now you see this C. It's silent. It doesn't say anything. Cnidarians. Cnidarians. They belong in the phylum Cnidaria. The name comes from the Greek word nide, which means nettle. So we see this part. The Greek word is nide, K-N-I-D-E, and it means nettle. And we just talked about what a nettle means. So these are all stinging animals. And just like the plant called the nettle, cnidarians pack a powerful sting. Jellyfish, sea anemones, and corals are the cnidarians we will study in this lesson. So if you look, you see the jellyfish. They're beautiful. They seem very docile and harmless, but boy, they can cause quite a sting. So we're going to talk about the difference between a polyp and a medusa. Boneless, brainless, eyeless, headless, footless, cnidarians are mostly composed of a mouth and tentacles. So cnidarians are really a mouth plus tentacles. Let me make sure I spell that right. Okay, I was right. Tentacles. Some cnidarians have tentacles that hang below them, like strings dangling from a bell. Other cnidarians have tentacles that wave above them, like little arms waving in the air. Those with waving tentacles are called polyps. Those with dangling tentacles are called medusa. Okay, so if it's a polyp and it has waving tentacles like this, then we would call this one a polyp. You're hitting the table. Please stop. Okay, and they're polyps. And if we have the bell shape like this, and it has the tentacles hanging down, it makes me think of the jellyfish, we call this one a medusa. So that's the difference between a polyp and a medusa. Polyps have stocky, tube-shaped bodies. So I'll move over here as we talk about the polyp. They have a stocky, tube-shaped body with tentacles that look a lot like little feet. In fact, the word polyp comes from a Greek word that means many feet. So polyp actually means many feet. Notice the hole in the center of the sea anemone on the right. On your picture, on page 185, you'll see a hole in the middle. That's its mouth. Okay, so in the picture you see kind of a hole here. That's its mouth. Besides the direction in which the tentacles hang, medusa and polyps are different when you compare their behavior. When they are medusa, cnidarians tend to float in the sea and are considered plankton. So these guys over here, they float. And they're considered plankton. Polyps, on the other hand, generally stay attached to one place. And they attach. They can move if they need to, but as long as food is plentiful, they stay put. It should be noted that some cnidarians are both polyps and medusa. They start their life in one form and then they switch as they mature. Many jellyfish, for example, begin their life as a polyp. But then as they mature and get older, they mature into a medusa that we generally think of when we think of jellyfish. All these dangling or waving tentacles are equipped with cells that kill or paralyze the cnidarian's prey. Their stings can be quite a bit more painful than those from a nettle bush, and a few species of jellyfish are even deadly to people. The next thing we're going to talk about are let's actually stop there today. That's a lot of information to write down, and I think it was a great start. And tomorrow we'll talk about nematocyst. And I think you're going to enjoy our lesson over nematocyst tomorrow. So, okay, thanks for tuning in. Make sure that you have all the notes. Pause it if you're not done, and we'll see you tomorrow.